Hello and welcome to Kingsholm, the home of high-flying Gloucester Rugby, for what promises to be an entertaining night of running rugby. This is, of course, the 2022 Remembrance rugby match, and it's unique in the Forces sporting calendar because it's the only time of the year that the UKAF men get together and play as one team. So you'll see a good blend of the best from the Royal Navy and the Royal Marines, the Army and the Royal Air Force as they take on their rivals tonight, which are Gloucester United. Earlier I spoke to the captains of both teams. So Jared Hayler, you're captain for tonight for the UK Armed Forces men's team. Tell us what is so special about this match, everything about it, you know, when it comes up in the Forces sporting calendar.
I think it is special. Obviously, we're looking back to sort of World War I, where all of those people have given their lives for us to have the lives we have today. It's a building of all three services, and the team of the three service who smash each other up in April are actually coming together to work and play together now, so it's good, yeah.
And it's not often, you know, it's really only this fixture every year where the UKAF men do get together, unless you've got an international defence rugby competition going on, like the women's we've just seen in New Zealand. You don't really get together as three services very often, so does that make it extra special as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's a tremendous occasion, obviously. It's, the timing, it makes it even better, so sort of this is the start of that Remembrance week, and this is a really good way to kick it off. So.
You've had mixed I'm talking the whole history of UKAF rugby. There's been a mixture of opposition. Where does sort of Gloucester United and playing at Kingsholm, where does that sort of rank in terms of players and teams and venues you've played at before?
Yeah, so we played at Bath, at the HAC in London, played at Bristol as well, but Kingsholm last year, the Rugby for Heroes game, that was a really good occasion and for a great cause. And this year against Gloucester A, hopefully it'll be a good competition as well, so we're just looking forward to getting out there. But first things first, it's for Remembrance.
You as captain, there's a lot of new names to me anyway on that sheet, and it's a really good mix across the three services. How do you sort of keep tabs on who's playing and who's on form and who's peaking, and you know, when it comes to matches like that? I suppose you've got the likes of Dave Pascoe helping you out as head coach as well, but you know, do you have a good head of who's good for this match and who's in peak form?
Yeah, I think it all comes from the inter-services. I think all three services are having a changeover of players, and there's an influx of very talented players coming through. Dave Pascoe, Mal and JC have all put together the best squad possible and available this week, and yeah, we're looking forward to seeing what we can produce on the pitch tonight.
Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.
Jack Bartlett, captain of Gloucester United for tonight. Tell us how Gloucester United see this match. We know how important it is to the UK Armed Forces men, but how do you guys see it? A good front up and a good match up for a night in November?
Yeah, definitely that. A lot of the boys, young boys like me, so I think I'm the oldest in the team today at 22, so that says a lot. But it just gives the opportunity for the boys that haven't played in this environment before, at Kingsholm before, and then also against this special team as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
And kind of extra significance for you, because tell us what your link with the Forces is and why this has extra significance for you.
Yeah, so my old man was in the Navy, so obviously a lot of his friends will be here tonight, and I'll be getting some stick as well, I expect. But be interesting to see how it goes. Be nice to get a win, and also have bragging rights over the old man as well.
I was going to say, is he going to have problems about who he supports?
No, I think he'll support me tonight, but hopefully.
How do you see it as a matchup? You say, you know, it's a young team, and it's a good run out at Kingsholm. What are you expecting from the UK Armed Forces men?
Big, physical. I reckon they like to run it a lot. Be like a bit of a barbarians game, I would have thought. Be very open, but hopefully us boys can control that. First 30 minutes would be massive to control the game, and then after that, if it opens up, it opens up.
You've got Gloucester have got a really good relationship with Forces Rugby. They've hosted inter-services games here. Are you conscious of that as a player, to sort of have that significant? And because you know about the military, you were born into it, you know, does it sort of make the match a little more significant for you as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's great to have any sort of games at Kingsholm, and especially a Gloucester United team against them as well. I think it's good. The fans around here love any rugby, so whatever rugby's on, they'll be here supporting, so hopefully.
And finally, Gloucester are flying high in the Premiership. They're doing really well at the moment. I imagine those guys you're out with there tonight on the pitch, you've all got hopes to be part of that Gloucester set-up for as long as possible and hopefully get into that top team as well.
Yeah, definitely. This is a stepping stone, and boys have got to step up and show what they can do, because there's going to be coaches watching. There's a lot of people watching tonight, so it's a really good opportunity for the boys to step up and show them what they can do.
Jack, thank you so much and good luck.
Thank you.
And I have hot-footed up to the press gantry here at Kingsholm for the 2022 Remembrance Rugby match at the home of Gloucester Rugby, of course. And I am privileged to have two rugby men with me who, quite honestly, I couldn't do it on my own. So Simon Ward, man on the mic, thank you again for joining us. And we've got the towering Josh McNally, currently injured, Bath player, with us as well. So two men to bring us the first half, at least, of this Remembrance Rugby match. Just Simon, just give us an idea about what you think about the match and the significance of it.
Well, it is an honour and a privilege to be here, because it puts so many things into perspective. I know we've talked about it through the inter-services as well. From Civvy Street, you realise when you arrive here the emotion, the actual reality of so many things, not going into bigger picture things, but you know what I mean. There is just a connection between the services, between what's gone on before and between what's happening now, and it's hugely emotional. And I'm guessing, Josh, that a lot of those guys out there are going to have to keep their emotions in check, certainly initially.
Yeah, definitely. I think this fixture, especially the Remembrance fixture, has got a long history. Combined Service Rugby used to have a long-standing history of this fixture. Now UKAF are trying to hold it on and take it onto a new place. And you start to see, we've obviously had COVID, and having fixtures like this, it's an amazing sort of occasion at Kingsholm. The best of the military and UKAF against a very strong, yet developing Gloucester side. It's a great night, and it should be a great occasion.
But Josh, you've played at stadiums like this. You're now an elite player, but you've also played for UKAF. What's the difference between the two? Is it different emotions when you go out representing the armed forces? Yeah,
it's a very, very different feeling when you get to represent your service, and then also UK Armed Forces as a tri-service team. Especially around this time, I've played in a lot of Remembrance games. It's a time to reflect. Obviously, there's bigger things in the world that are going on. It's not just about the rugby match, but it's a time where people come and reflect around this time. And yeah, it's a very, very different feeling. And I haven't played in a fixture like this for a long time now, but yeah, it's something that I can't wait to come back and do. And sadly can't play this year because I'm injured.
I think we've got to remember the flip side of the coin as well. There's a lot of young men out there wearing red and white this evening that are, like me, perhaps are going to come up, not against it, but into reality, not only in terms of the rugby they're playing against some very older players, shall we say. I mean, I think the eldest in the Gloucester United side is 22. So, you know, there's a lot of growing up on a rugby pitch, but with everything else that is associated with this game.
Yeah, I don't like. The occasion can't get the better of this game. There has to be a game of rugby. It's got to be physical. It's got to give everything that we want from a rugby match. Yes, everything around the game and the occasion is huge, but we need a game of rugby at the start of it. And I think the last few years we've let that slip, and we've thought about the occasion too much, and we've put fixtures on that maybe shouldn't have. And now we're starting to see a good UKAF side against a good outfit and a good opposition that is going to test both sides. Like the Gloucester United side is full of young, developing lads that have probably done nothing but rugby since they've come out of school. We've got an experienced UKAF side that have been around the world, have done things, have seen life very, very differently, that play rugby in a different way. It's going to be a great test and something that both teams will learn something from.
Well, Jack Bartlett, the captain of Gloucester United, who is the eldest, the 22-year-old who's playing tonight, I said, what will you expect from the UKAF team? He said, big, physical, and, you know, some of those lads, they're 18-year-olds and they're going to be facing someone who's twice their age, but, you know, twice experienced, but that has its disadvantages as well.
A lot of these youngsters, Kath, have been dual registered with other teams, national championship, maybe in various levels of the game, and they will have learned fairly quickly, probably, especially the forwards, how physical the game can be. But as you've said, you know, Jack Bartlett, well, Jack will know more than most because his dad, Nick, used to be the captain of the Royal Navy, but he will have to get into the heads of these boys that they have got to focus on their game plan. Now, we will remember, no doubt we'll be commenting through the game, both teams have been together fairly, in the last 2 or 3 days. So it's got a Barbarians feel to it, perhaps, but there is so much more on the table for both sides.
Well, we're just waiting for the players to come out here. Of course, as it's a remembrance match, we'll have some singing and a bit of music and, of course, the national anthem and the last post before we get to game time. So we might be a bit delayed on kick-off, but just watch now as the players come out, and they'll be all, they've got wreaths to lay as well. So we have all the pomp and circumstance before the game gets underway. Just one final word from you, Josh. What are the guys going to be feeling like, and what emotions will they be going through now?
Yeah, I think this is probably the first meaningful fixture UK Armed Forces have had probably for the last 3-4 years. I think around Remembrance, every single player in that UKAF side will have something to reflect on and remember serving their country for however many years, whether they've been in for 1, 2, 10 years. This time of year is a hugely reflective time, so it's about keeping these emotions in check. There's a game of rugby to be played, and I just wish them luck, really.
Do you wish you were playing?
I get to this stage. I've had a nice dinner up here, and I think, now I start to think I'd rather be out there playing, I think.
Well, Josh, we'd love to see you playing. We do look forward to seeing you back as well after injury. So the teams are just going line up now, and we'll wait and hear, because the last post will be played out before the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those that can, please be upstanding for the act of remembrance. They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we shall remember them. Please be upstanding for the national anthem of the United Kingdom, God Save the King.
rendition of the national anthem there from classical singer Millie Underwood. Guys, it's rugby time. Simon, do you want to do a quick run through of the teams?
Yeah, let's take a look at the two lineups. Inevitably, with the way the fixture is set up, there has been some adjustments, some late adjustments within both starting 15s, but a good mix, of course, in the UKAF side of the RAF, the Royal Navy and the British Army. There's familiar faces at 9 and 10. Mike McDonald and Jack Johnson will be the hinges for UKAF. And then we've got Jordan Gott at fullback. Ryan Crowley and Ben Chambers will be on the wings, with Will Reeve and Will Lamont in the centres. Up front, Dave Manning, James Roberts, Ben Watson will be shunted, shall I say, by Alex Stanley and Sam Hutchinson. The back row, Toby Patt, Jared Hayler, the captain, and Manasseh Thakau. We'll run through some of those Gloucester names for you as the game progresses, but as we've said, be very interesting to see how the two teams stack up, particularly up front, where you would expect the UKAF side to maybe have a little bit of precedence. You see now Matty Jones, the Gloucester scrum half, member of the England under-20s through the Six Nations back in February-March time. So some quality here. And here is the first line out. Josh, I guess all calls have to be kept simple just to get things going between hooker and jumpers.
Yeah, UKAF and I imagine Gloucester as well have not had long together. Keep things as simple as possible, win the ball and get the ball out to launch. But yeah, good start here.
Straight into midfield with Thakau, the big Army number 8, really looking to make a dent in that red and white line. Oh, interesting handling from James Roberts. Not quite going to hand. Thankfully, the wet weather of earlier in this week seems to have dissipated now, and for the most part, it's been a dry, sunny day in these parts. And of course, playing on a 4G pitch, you're never quite sure how that's going to affect.
No, and in games like this, where it does get scrappy at times, that both teams aren't used to playing with each other, and inevitably there's going to be space. So to have a dry night, a 4G, hopefully the ball can get moved well, and hopefully we'll see some good running rugby.
Seb Blake gets his first darts out, but it doesn't work, and it's his opposite number, James Roberts, who's going to set up position. Straight out to Toby Papp, man who's come up through the ranks really through Exeter now. I think he's with Exmouth Rugby Club down there in the West Country. McDonald. UKAF just trying to test out things around the fringe. Jared Hayler, head down and drive. Again, using Thakau on that acute angle to see what the elasticity is like within the red and white ranks.
That's good from Gloucester, a good D-set. Obviously Gloucester mentioned it, Bartlett mentioned it, but it's going to be a physical game, and I think Gloucester really fronted up there. Some big collisions on UKAF's big primary runners, so it shows them for a fight, and yes, it's open for a good start.
Out of courtesy, let's run through the Gloucester United lineup, beginning with the front rowers. Archie MacArthur, new signing for Gloucester this week from Wasps, will be alongside Seb Blake and Henry Pearson. We thought Murray McCallum, the former Scotland international tight head, was going to be starting, but I'm told he's going to be appearing for the Barbarians against the New Zealand 15 on Sunday. So Henry Pearson will be in the 3 shirt, Tom Warts and Jack Cuthbert in the second row, Matt Hillary, Rob Nixon and the captain Jack Bartlett in that back row. We'll run through the back line in just a moment. Well worked line out move allows Bartlett to just get over the gain line. Keelan Cullen, the fly half, hangs it high. Good anticipation though. Jordan got out to his opposite number, Morgan Adderley Jones, with that sweeping left foot kick. Crowley showed so well in the RAF game here in, when was it, April, May time against the Army. Such a dangerous runner. Jones just biding his time, allowing that defensive line to set up before he hangs one up for the runners to challenge. Will Reeve, of course, better known really as a fullback, playing it outside centre in this one though.
It's good from Gloucester there, not panicking, not overplaying, probably winning the kick battle there. Just probably shows the experience and how much these guys play in a professional setup, the way they can set up exits and put contestable kicks in, something that probably a lot of UKAF sides won't be that used to. Gloucester are really good at exiting lines, putting contestable kicks up and putting pressure on the catcher to ultimately turn it over and get a scrum around halfway.
Is that a variety you expect to see between the two sides, as you just explained?
I expect UKAF to be playing a bit more freely, a bit more seeing what's in front of them. Gloucester have obviously got an identity that we've seen in the Premiership, and that gets run down through from top to bottom from Gloucester. So imagine Gloucester not doing anything too much in their own half, going to the drive a lot, going to the set piece, and ultimately putting pressure in the opposition 22.
Wilf McCarthy and Tom Ryman get things going down that left flank. First visit towards the opposition 22 for the home side. Blake stumbles into the contact and I think, just got into a bad position there, the hooker. Support wasn't able to produce the ball, and it's going to allow UKAF the penalty to clear their lines.
Gloucester just hitting the lead runner there, and these are little things you'll see just from tonight that not used to playing with each other, hit the lead line and just didn't have anyone to clear out. So it was a late adjust, and UKAF reacted really well to get in and contest for the ball and ultimately winning a penalty.
James Roberts, the RAF hooker, plays his rugby now with Evesham. Good darts from right to the back, into that midfield, but hands weren't waiting, and suddenly it's Gloucester trying to break away through Ewan Glynn. That's a very well worked kick, not quite finding the touch though. Ben Chambers slams it clear, but Gloucester United suddenly finding ball in hand unexpectedly and making the most of it.
Offer such a good line out there from UKAF to not execute on first phase, sees them now defending well into their own half, and that's sort of what the game's going to look like, because it is so free and everyone's not used to playing with each other. There is going to be times in the game where it seems like scrappy, but it's going to be whoever capitalises on that the most and puts the ball in the right area of the pitch.
Good leap at the back from Rob Nixon. Trying to find that continuity, but the knock forward and then the offside is going to allow UKAF the chance to get out of their own half. Jordan Gott, who of course played at 10 at Twickenham against the Army, but I'm told is more regularly known as a 15, certainly with his club Taunton Titans. He's been at full-back and has that running range that we've seen that would allow him to be a very successful 15. Eight minutes gone, no points on the board as yet. Again, the tail gunner works. It's an impressive start in that area of the line out from UKAF. Ben Watson, Bubba Watson, using his bulk to take his team into the red zone. Crowley. Sam Hutchinson, try scorer in the game last season. Didn't play here in that RAF Army game. I seem to remember he was injured for that one. Came back for the Navy match-up. The break is there. Out to Crowley it goes. Tries to get the little offload into Gott. Fullback does well just to maintain the possession. It's just given away. So hands on the ball. Referee this evening, Nick Wood, formerly of this parish, of course, former Loosehead prop, now on the whistle. Must be a gag in there somewhere, but I can't think what it is. So a real attacking opportunity for UKAF now. First real option, certainly from set piece, some 5-6 metres out. Safe take from the captain, Jared Hayler, and the drive comes on.
It's good defence from Gloucester.
They've done well to turn that. If they turn the ball, they have. There's a turnover there for the home boys. Matty Jones just biding his time before he gets the kick away, and tremendous height on it. Ben Chambers does well though. Chambers on the charge. Good tackle, just stalling him, but back come UKAF some 6 metres out. It goes wide. Trying to cut back in is Crowley. Turnover ball again, and UKAF are going to have to be careful of that, but Chambers,
great tackle,
sat down by Gilderson. Oh, another penalty against Gloucester United, and already that particular tally is beginning to build.
Yeah, it is. I think it's just an over-eagerness here. I think a lot of these are at breakdown. Just the over-eagerness of the Gloucester players to go into every breakdown, try and compete, regardless of whether they think they're legal or not. They've got to listen and got to understand the situation around them. So, not surprising to see Gloucester's DNA coming in and stopping that maul. I think they've been exceptional on that in the Premiership and Premiership Rugby Cup this year, and they've got another attempt here to stop that maul. Something they're very, very strong at, and something they spend a lot of time doing.
Again, Hayler the target. Again, the drive comes on. Stop just short. They're going to have to go again. Sniffing the white line now, those forwards. Ball's presented, now it's over. I think it is the captain. I think it is Jared Hayler who's got it. Yes, it is. So, first score on the board from UKAF, and they kept knocking at the door, and eventually it opened.
I think from that opening sort of 10 minutes, I think UKAF have thoroughly deserved to score there. I think you've seen set pieces been strong. They've put the ball into the right areas. They've had opportunities in the 22, and I think it's just Gloucester's ill discipline that they've just put themselves back under pressure, and ultimately it's cost them 7 points there. And they just need to work out a way of keeping hold of the ball, putting it in the right areas, and not just gifting the UKAF field position, because UKAF are a strong outfit and they'll take these opportunities. They've got some very experienced players. They'll put the ball in the right areas. They've got a great set piece, and I think this could be a wake-up call for Gloucester. This is going to be a physical, tough evening. It's not just a remembrance fixture they can come and run out and have a good game at. It's going to be a physical, tough encounter.
Well, the Royal Marine scored the first try here last season. Has done the same again this. Benefiting from the hard oomph from those forwards, and as Josh McNally says, Gloucester United have to learn the lessons from the last 10 minutes or so. Watson can't take cleanly.
Scrappy exit. The last thing you want to do when you score points is give opposition an easy entry into your own half. The biggest thing we talk about at Bath is post-point actions. As soon as you get points, what are our next actions? And if you can exit well, you're usually going to be quite successful in games. And if you don't exit well, you find yourself straight away under pressure. You've put 7 points on the board, you've had a good 15 minutes, but now straight away you're under pressure in your own half.
And how many times does it happen? I mean, we use that phrase coach killer. Yeah. It happens, there's some sort of mental switch off from the success of getting the try or points on the board, and it happens so many times in so many matches.
It's something probably, exiting from your own half is something that you probably take for granted. You just think it'll happen. is such a part of the game now that you exit well, you take pressure straight off you. Here again, now you see, look, we're under pressure, UKAF are under pressure, and no doubt from Gloucester's DNA, this is going straight into the corner.
I was talking to George Skivington and Carl Hogg before the game. Carl Hogg, of course, Director of Academy and Development. George Skivington now head honcho here. And yeah, both very interested to see how, as you've said, Josh, it's in the DNA. So there is a template that this young team will be looking to work through and from, but how well they adapt it, if necessary, manage it, make things happen now. Now this is the first entrance into the UKAF 22 and a real opportunity for these young men to make it count. Looking to try and get the drive on. They've had to wait, and it's going to skewer to the right. Seb Blake does very well, and Blake is there. That is a terrific work from the young hooker. Looked like that driving ball had been sent towards the touchline, but my goodness me, he made something out of nothing there.
Yeah, just from your point on the DNA, like I worked a lot with George Skivington at London Irish, and as soon as he got the Gloucester job, I knew exactly how Gloucester were going to start playing. Strong, physical, very, very tough pack. Tough both ends of the pitch. Score lots of maul tries, stop lots of mauls. And you can see it straight away here. The first opportunity they get 5 metres out, they go for a try. And it's something that George Skivington would have brought in to Gloucester as soon as he got here. That's the sort of DNA he wanted. And that immediately gets bled down through all age, all through the academy. So these guys, through the age grades of Gloucester, would have been just breeding this. The last few years, more set piece. So these forwards, they're not coming in thinking, oh, we need to get better. They've been doing this for the last few years, and you can see straight away the first opportunity they get there, they're putting UKAF under pressure. And
that's why that continuity is critical, isn't it? Because you can't change things overnight, but you can develop and evolve over a few years. Cullen adding a good 2 here to level the points up. 7 points apiece with 16 minutes gone on the match clock. Well, what we can be sure of is we've got a contest on this evening. From what we've seen in the first quarter of an hour or so, both teams now finding their feet in their game.
Again, Gloucester not able to take a clean restart, and are immediately under pressure. Find themselves in a strong D set now into multi-phase D. It's not how you want to exit, but put enough pressure on there to force a knock-on.
Toby Papp unable to take that dipping pass, dropping onto his bootlaces. Yeah, I guess, you know, with youngsters 19, 20, 21, you could sort of excuse it. No, maybe not excuse, that's not the right word, but maybe expect a certain switch off. But there's some seasoned rugby players on the other side. There is,
yeah. And it's probably just, I don't mean to seem, for where these guys are at in the development of rugby, I think things like exiting and how to take restarts and that probably isn't at the front of their mind, and isn't they want to do the core fundamentals, set piece, attack, defence, and work around that. As they get older, as they become part of a very successful Gloucester team, they'll start to understand those greater nuances and understand what it is to have those games where you keep relieving pressure from yourselves. Don't keep putting pressure on yourselves, because teams thrive off that pressure, and it's a very, very hard place to get out of when you can't take restarts, execute lineouts, and things that they'll learn as part of their development and as they go through into the men's game.
I'm going to ask you a question as a player, and I'll talk to Tug about this in the second half. We saw at Twickenham on Sunday almost a robotic performance from England. As a player, how much information do you actually want pre-match, or how much do you want to just play what's in front of you? That's a tough question, but you see where I'm coming from. That robotic thing that Eddie Jones seems to have with England now doesn't allow the freedom of expression that maybe could make a difference?
I get that. I
know you're on the fringe of the England squad as well, so I'm not asking you to criticise.
No, I'll throw him under the bus. It's very tough. Like Test match rugby is so different to anything we're seeing domestically at the moment. Teams are coming, they're looking at how to break the mould of rugby, and the game's played at such an intensity now. There has to be a mould of how you want to play and how England want to play, and we're starting to see that. Obviously, they're starting to try and bring a more of an attacking game. They got crucified for having such a kicking game 18 months ago. But the game evolves so quickly, and we only see England 10 times a year, and it's when there's such a depth of players in the Premiership that England don't have control of as such, because the Premiership holds onto their players, and England select players every time. They're not centrally contracted, so they don't, like, the team changes, like the England team changes every single time they play. So every single time they go into camp is a little bit different, and ultimately what Eddie Jones is doing is it's on a 4-year cycle, so he's putting teams under as much pressure as possible. He isn't that worried about how autumn international results are going. He's going to get judged in 12 months' time.
Well, UKAF going really well in there. Good work from Adderley Jones, though, staying strong in the tackle. Sam Hutchinson getting no way forward there, but they're loading up to the left side. Crowley again coming off his wing, looking for that extra work. Dave Manning in at fly half. Not going to get the ball, though. What's the call? There's a man down in back play for the Cherry and Whites. Not sure whether Nick Wood's going to... Yes, he is going to stop. Yeah, just getting back to that, it just then comes back into your mind, if you've got strengths, if you've got players in form, then why not utilise them and use them? I mean, you've got coaches out here today that have only had 2 days with players, and they are going to utilise the strengths that they know of the players they've got out there. Surely Eddie Jones, to a certain extent, has to go with that swing. You've just said the Premiership has got such good players, but we don't necessarily see them in the best form when they've got the white shirt on, or black as it was.
It's tough, because all those Premiership players are playing a different style of rugby. So
sure.
If you look at Wales or Ireland, for example, where they're centrally contracted, Ireland know how they're playing, and a lot of the provinces play the same way. So when the Irish players come in and they're centrally contracted, so they're well managed, they sort of understand the style of play they want to play. England is very different. You have different styles of play, whether you're from Quins, whether Exeter, Leicester, all play very, very different styles of rugby. You've now got to find the best way of getting those onto the part, and that might necessarily be at the detriment of some of the players. So I'm trying to think of examples. So the way Exeter's pack are, and they're exceptional, doesn't necessarily suit the way England want to play. So then you lose the likes of Sam Simmons, who is exceptional for Exeter.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily get his best qualities when he plays for England. So it's a hugely difficult job, because of he's almost got too much at his disposal in the Premiership. There's too much available to him. There's too many good players, and it's tough to find the best way for England to play, because it might change every year based on who's available to him, who the best players in the Premiership are.
Yeah,
so
it's an amalgam, therefore.
I understand the frustration of fans, and I understand even myself as a fan, and I've got a lot of friends that play for England. I understand the frustrations, and the frustrations from within camp as well. But it's a very, very difficult place to be, sort of as an England player and the coach of England.
Well put. Thanks for that, Josh, because it is a hot topic, obviously, at the moment, on social media boards and elsewhere as well. Well, that's good work from the Gloucester pack, but the ball is still heading towards the try line. They drive again. Nick Wood just trying to get a sight line on where it is. It's out, or is it? I saw the arm go up, and now he's called it held up. So great work from the Cherry and White's defence there, because it was Manasseh Thakau who thought he would use that not inconsiderable bulk to get the ball down. It's going to be a restart from the try line for the Cherry and Whites, and a chance to just catch their breath a bit, I think. That's
a very good outcome for Gloucester there, just to be able to clear lines. take the pressure away from your own try line and hopefully get a D set around halfway line.
Reeve and Gott trying to combine. Hayler releases Crowley down that right flank. The kick goes straight through to Adley Jones though, and the Hartpury fullback slams it away. Only turned 20 last Thursday, Morgan Adley Jones, playing his club rugby for Cinderford in National 1, and again, as we were talking about earlier, finding the harsh reality of men's rugby to learn and adjust. That's what they do with the dual registration in these academies nowadays. There's a few youngsters as well that have come into the mix this evening, and they'll be hoping their audition in front of Carl Hogg and George Skivington is enough maybe to get them involved in one of the academies as well.
Yeah, it's such a great asset to have as a Premiership club. Gloucester here have got Harbury as a feeder club, and then also some great National 1, National 2 teams around them that they can give these guys some unbelievable experience and exposure to men's rugby. The amount of times I've told my story of how I came through and played amateur rugby and semi-professional rugby before I got an opportunity to play professional rugby has helped me so much to understand the attrition of the game. Now you see academies hold on to players, not let them go, and some of these young lads might only play 2-3 games a year, and it's just not the right way to blood these guys in. If you've got a great feeder system and a way that you can get guys Championship and National 1 experience, it's only going to pay you dividends in the future.
Bartlett, who's playing with Lydney, local club. Matty Jones goes looking, wandering down the right flank, no way through though. The purple door is closed. Cullen into midfield with Seb Blake. Just get the feeling the confidence levels in the young men in cherry and white is beginning to build. Oh, interception try almost, but not quite. Cullen's heart was in his mouth there, I think, as Will Reeve came through.
Gloucester have really settled into this game now. They're starting to play two-sided attack. UKAF starting to get a little bit tired into this half, starting to overfold, starting to see some real space for UKAF to exploit, and now we see this, what we saw nearly 10 minutes ago, line out 5 metres out for Gloucester, and it's going to be a very, very tough stop for UKAF this.
Yeah, it was the hooker who benefited from the line-out drive on that occasion. How is it going to set up now? Two second rows for the Cherry and Whites. One from Long Levens Rugby Club. Jack Cuthbert in there as Tom Warts from Hartpury Bucks. And they're over. Looking to see who's come up with the ball. I think it's the hooker again, isn't it? No, it's the skipper. It's Captain Jack Bartlett.
That's a great drive from Gloucester. If you just watch the replay, they get a really good set. UKAF get a great set in defence, but just the work of the front three, the two lifters and the jumper, just being able to turn the corner. UKAF haven't got a man there to stop the edge, as we call it, getting around the corner, and it's almost a free walk-in once the UKAF defenders spin round. So a great set from Gloucester, an unsurprising set, and you can really see how this, what I call it as a DNA, how that is really coming into the game now. And yeah, if that's where UKAF have got to look now. How do they stop the set piece? How do they stop giving them entries into their own half, into their own 22? Stop that, and then you get into a contest. At the moment, UKAF can't stop the set piece and stop the pressure that they're applying in the 5 metre.
Cullen can't add the extras, but for the first time Gloucester United have their noses in front at 12-7. We've got 11 minutes to go until the break. Yeah, we've mentioned George Skivington as a forward of note. Of course, you've got Trevor Woodman here as well. Gareth Delve, your old mate from Bath, who's just come in as, I think, academy manager So, yeah, some forward nous there in the coaching ranks, no question about that. The pass allowing that defensive line to move up considerably onto the ball carrier. So they get pushed back into their own 22, forcing Cullen to kick long. Will Reeve. Oh, a slight shank from the boot of Mr. Reeve on this occasion.
Much better from Gloucester. You just see how they take a good exit, couple of phases, nothing silly, long kick downfield and a great kick chase. You see the Gloucester, the red and white shirts flooding through UKAF, applying pressure to the receiver, putting pressure on the kick, and now they're getting a line out well inside UKAF's half.
If you're just joining us, great to have your company this evening here at Kingsholm. Be it you're watching on BFBS TV for audiences outside of these shores, or on Forces News Facebook and YouTube channel, of course. Make sure you put your comments in. I'm not sure whether we've had any so far, Kath, have we?
We've had one or two, just some names that Josh, I'm sure, will recognise. Jamie Doig's watching, as is Helen Richardson as well. And our very own John Knighton, who was covering some UK Armed Forces women's football as well this afternoon. So they all say hi and good luck.
Good to have you on board, one and all, as Ryan Crowley finds no way through there and lassoed by the Gloucester tacklers to give the home side another attacking opportunity. Now, twice this has produced tries already in the first half an hour of this game. Is it going to be deja vu now?
Just how Gloucester are applying pressure and everything they do. You see the kick chasing, the exit is not playing any silly rugby in their own half. It's just giving them constant opportunities to put points on the board, and it's a much better defence set from UKAF here, but Dave Manning gets through there, but they've got to stop him here. It's a strong finish.
So Blake wasn't going to be stopped. Raging ball from the side of that ruck, and it's try number 2 for Gloucester United's number 2, Seb Blake.
UKAF are almost throwing everything they possibly had to stop that maul, and Dave Manning does a great job of getting through, but Gloucester break away, and UKAF are caught short defensively, and it's a one-on-one missed tackle that ultimately cost them a score.
Keelan Cullen, just 18 years of age, comes from Bonnymain Rugby Club on the fringes of Swansea down there in South Wales. Formerly at Ospreys, as you would be in that neck of the woods. And now up with the Gloucester Academy here. Simple enough stuff for the Gloucester United number 10, and they increase their lead now to 19-7, 7 minutes left in this first half. Good taken charge out of the 22 from Rob Nixon. Yeah, you look back to last year's game, Josh, and it was what, nearly 100 points on the board, I think, here, wasn't it, against the was it Rugby for Heroes side? It's got a very different feel to this one already.
It has, yeah. I think last year's fixture was probably all about the occasion. It was great to get Rugby for Heroes. They do a lot of great work, and to have them as part of the Remembrance fixture was a great occasion. But this is, you can really see this is a physical test for both sides, and that's ultimately what makes it a better occasion. I think a Remembrance fixture needs to have a great fixture two good sides going at it, the best from the military and a good outfit and on the opposition, and that's what it's got to be about. It can't just be about the occasion of remembrance and a few thousand fans.
Good transference along the purple line. Not making too much headway, but still with the ball there. McDonald finding no way to get forward, but holds on to it. I think Jordan Gott is down in back play, forcing Nick Wood to call time on that move.
Just while we've got a second, guys, UK Armed Forces Rugby have asked us to promote their charity raffle, which is in support of Gloucester, raising money for the For Ed campaign for Ed Slater, a former Gloucester rugby player who, of course, was recently diagnosed with motor neurone disease. All you need to do is visit the UKAF Twitter page. You can enter through there. You can scan the QR code and get in that way. You stand the chance of winning hospitality tickets for games, Army Rugby Union Remembrance Day shirt, Royal Navy Rugby playing shirt, loads and loads of prizes there for you to win. So get onto Twitter and get yourself entered.
Yeah, please join in that. Slate's a guy that we both know quite well from his time here at Gloucester and, of course, at Leicester Tigers before, and that is, a very worthy cause, to say the least.
Yeah, it's a great cause. Obviously, played against Ed quite a lot, and something that really rocked the Premiership. It's obviously been well publicised, but wish him well, wish his family well, and please go and enter that for the charity.
We've also had a message from Dan Smith. Says Long 11's Rugby are watching our lad. I can't remember which player.
Yeah, that's Jack Cuthbert.
Yeah, so
Dan, he's playing well. I've been keeping an eye on him, and I was gonna flag him to another second rower stood next to me, because he's been showing well in the loose. In particular, he's got the black knee band on in the cherry and whites pack, so we should keep an eye on him. And again, another youngster's hoping to show the Gloucester hierarchy what might be possible.
And in a UKAF shirt, I believe Jack Johnson's been making a bit of a scene on the military side as well. And Phil Bright, who is one of our RAF footballers, is obviously a fan and a friend. So he said, "Go on, Jack Johnson."
Jack Johnson, I don't know whether he's got Scottish blood, but apparently he can play the bagpipes.
Well, there we go.
That's a claim to fame, isn't it?
We should have had him out before the game, with the band.
Can you imagine? Send the fans home before the game had started. Well, Johnson lining up the back line with Thakal just outside him, so expect to see Crash Ball Charlie move coming in, he thinks.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to tackle him, to be honest.
He's a man mountain, isn't he? Take at the front from Hutchinson. The alignment not quite what they were hoping for, but Thakal indeed does get the break. Releases his man, and it's Will Lamont who's in the right place at the right time. UKAF hit back with their second try.
That's a great line. He's got that off really sloppy ball as well. It's not come from the line out that well, but just the sheer power of him running through the line, really, really tough to stop, and to get both arms free and get the offload away, that's a great ball carrying asset to have out in the back line.
It's like a dumper truck with a handbrake off going downhill, isn't it? It's just nigh on impossible to stop when he's got that angle as well.
Yeah, it must be a back's worst nightmare. When you see a back rower step out into the back line, especially someone with his running ability, you don't want that at all, and pretty much everyone in that back line was probably hoping that he wasn't going to run at him, so...
Drift!
No, a fantastic runner, and showing a bit of... Not just a runner, he's got the ball handling skills as well to get his arms free and to put someone... was it a Will Lamont away for a try?
Yeah. Yeah, looking at Manasseh Thakal's CVs, worn a fair few colours, one of them Hartbury, of course, the link with the opposition. Now I think he's in Reading with the Rams. He's been with Paul Turner and Ampthill and Marlborough as well. So there's a fair few people that know just how good Manasseh Thakal is. Here come Gloucester United. Adley Jones takes the ball through the tackle but can't release Will Gilderson on this near flank. Almost but not quite from Gloucester United.
It's good release, good use of lead runners. They get an overlap, just need to execute on that last pass, and it's a walk in. But great pressure from UKAF to close up on the second last, make him make the pass. Always force the skill when you're a man down, and put the guy under pressure to not execute that.
And for invitational sides like that, that communication is so difficult to get in place when you're on the run, when you're trying to cover all gaps, cover all the holes, as it were.
Yeah, definitely. UKAF exiting really well here.
Yeah, breakout from the front row. Quick presentation. Jack Johnson opts to put boot to ball. Adley Jones is in good position just outside his 22. Little show and go, but not getting through that particular door. The charge down is there. UKAF trying to make something of this ricocheted ball. Watson in at fly off, ships it on. Johnson throws it wide. Oh, the handling of Roberts just not up to speed.
Let it play on though. Good counter up from Gloucester. Turnover.
Well, Roberts reckons Goodwill Hunting was based on him. I'm not sure whether he thinks he was Matt Damon or others, but it's, he won't want that on his highlights reel, that last play, that's for sure. Into the final play of this first half, with 5 points the difference between the two sides.
UKAF can't switch off here. They've seen the clock go red. They can't just think we're getting through to the change rooms now. Gloucester are coming here now to try and get points, put pressure on them. Need a big D set here. Stop Gloucester for half time. Going to half time, 19-14 down after a great 40 minutes of rugby.
The take once again from Nixon. Sets the driving maul into action. Into the UKAF 22. Not getting far there. Now they come on the crash ball with Wilf McCarthy.
Gloucester forwards winning the race around the corner here.
Yeah, tired legs in the UKAF side, really having to work harder and harder now as Gloucester build up the pressure. Nixon. Good work from Lamont. Ball still there. The little ship ball is lovely from the scrum half. Pulled down just short. Nixon it is. Rob Nixon adds a coup de grace really to this first half for the home side, and Gloucester United really making that pressure felt and count.
Just from that line here, you can see the urgency of the forwards to get to the next phase, get around the corner. A little bit laboured from UKAF, and you just get forwards running into backs, which is always going to be a physical disadvantage for the defence, and ultimately time in that zone. Gloucester are well drilled in that zone, come away with points.
Yes, plenty for coaches Pascoe, Roberts and Coleman to contemplate at half-time. Last kick of this first half would be down to Keelan Cullen. Cullen adds the extras, and well, just looking at Nick Wood, I was expecting him to blow for half-time there, but he's going to allow the restart to happen. 26-14 the scoreboard reads. Maybe, just maybe, a chance for UKAF to get something back before the turnaround. Bartlett staying strong under the ball. One of these front row forwards that has converted to the back row. Normally it seems to go the other way in the modern game right now, but Jack Bartlett 2 years ago was told by George Skivington give number 8 a go, and being 6'4" and whatever, 120 kilos, he's certainly seemed to have made a good impression thus far. Johnson. Crowley waiting wide, showing good footballing skills, and the little dab over the top to finish as well. Half-time whistle does go. A half that started so well for UKAF with that try from captain Jared Hayler, but then Gloucester hitting back with 3 tries from the B men, from Blake Bartlett and Blake again. Lamont getting himself on the scoreboard, which we thought was going to be the last try of that first half, but the try from Rob Nixon means the score at half-time. As we turn around, it's Gloucester United 26, UK Armed Forces 14.
Well, thank you, Simon, and thank you, Josh, for your first half thoughts. I know that you talked about in conversation, we were talking about England rugby men, obviously, who were 1 point short against Argentina at the weekend. But one team that's doing very well, of course, is the England women out in the World Cup in New Zealand, and they're facing New Zealand in the final. And I've been lucky enough to speak to Amy Cockayne, who is our RAF, of course Josh knows her well, RAF representative out there, playing a really, really good World Cup for England. And I was lucky enough to speak to Amy earlier this week.
The aim of the tournament is to be in the final, so we've ticked that now. Obviously, the game was a bit more stressful for everyone watching than it probably needed to be. But at the end of the day, we're in the final, so we've just got to go out and do the job now. There's been a lot more hype about it. Obviously, being in New Zealand for the first time as well, we'll be walking around town and people will stop us and be like, "Oh, what rugby team are you then?" So everyone in the community's really got behind it. And with it being sold out and stuff, that's huge. All the games we've had so far have all been huge tests. You know, you look back to that Fiji game, which seems like years ago now, but that first half was insane, so all the games have really posed different questions, so it's quite good that we've been asked different questions and we've managed to come up with some answers. So yeah, obviously New Zealand's going to be a huge challenge, but yeah, it should be one that we're up for.
The press over here has made a lot of the fact that England score a lot of their tries from the power of the pack, and that New Zealand are like the reverse of that and use their backs. Do you make much of that in training?
As a forward pack, it has made us laugh a bit, the amount of media attention that it's got having the driving maul, but I think at the end of the day, if we score tries from it, it's up to the opposition to be able to stop it. Why would we go, okay, we know we can score tries this way, but how about we try this way? So yeah, if it's still working, we'll definitely still go with it. But yeah, like you said, at the weekend, the likes of Abby Dow's try was immense as well. So I think, yes, we have got a very strong forward pack, but, you know, we've got some insane backs as well. So if we need to go to them at the weekend, you know, they're more than ready to do that as well.
Don't tell me they're taking it. They can. They won't. They will. Incredible.
What does this week look like ahead of a World Cup final?
We were lucky enough to have a couple of days like rest and recovery. We had like soft tissue people coming in, people getting physios just to make sure the bodies are in the right place. And then, yeah, a couple of training days. And then we're right into Saturday. So, yeah, it's quite funny. We're getting to like the last of everything now. So we're like, oh, last gym session, last training session. We had our last install today. So, yeah, everyone's kind of on the countdown now. Our nutritionist Sophie's been out with us, keeping tabs on us, same with our S&C. Just like nutrition is huge in terms of recovery and preparing you for the game. It doesn't always mean you can't have your little treats here and there, especially when we need to like carb load and stuff. We're normally allowed a naughty little treat before the game to make sure we've got our energy up there. So yeah, I think we've got the balance quite right in terms of that. We've got some awesome people here that have helped us with that.
And is there a game plan for New Zealand, or have you just pretty much had the same game plan throughout the tournament?
I think this week we've kind of just focused a lot on ourselves. Our kind of strap line has been like, be you, be us. So kind of the reason that you're in the room, the player that you are, the reason why you've been selected in this team, like go out there and just show that and express yourself. And, you know, we're a strong group of 32 players that anyone out there on the pitch can do the job. So just really to remember that you are a good player and we are a good team. And if we all come together on Saturday, hopefully we'll put on a good show.
to have tickets.
And a chance then for the youngster, for number 13, Ryan Robertshaw, to go over and score their third try.
Hi, I'm Simon Hunter, and this is In Case You Missed It. Army Rugby League star Mickey Hoyle will spend another year playing for Bradford Bulls. The soldier joined the Bulls ahead of the 2022 season, and his performances have earned him a one-year extension. It's a double celebration for Hoyle, who recently became a father for the first time. Welcome to the squad, Gareth Southgate. That was the message from Help for Heroes after the England manager agreed to become a patron for the veterans charity. Ahead of flying out to Qatar, Gareth met with some of the veterans supported by the charity and spoke of his ties to the military.
I'm absolutely delighted to be a patron of Help for Heroes. My family have got a long history with military, and I'm in a fortunate position to be the England manager where to support a charity like this I think can make a difference.
Gareth is caring, he's passionate about helping heroes, and that to me is the most important thing. So we've got the right man at the right time.
It's already been a great year for Army veteran and para-powerlifter Mickey Yule, but it could be about to get even better. Mickey, who lost both legs in an IED explosion while serving with the Royal Engineers in 2010, won bronze at the Commonwealth Games earlier this summer. He celebrated on the podium with his young daughter Tilly, and that moment has been nominated for recognition at the Scottish Sports Awards 2022.
Well, this is the ramp that the F-35 fast jets take off from.
All the action on the exercise is taking place just a couple of hours' drive from where Estonia has her border with Russia.
It can take up to 10 hours to clean and polish all of the kit needed for both horse and rider.
How much cold, hard cash governments are going to be prepared to spend on defence and the increasingly simulated military training that comes with it.
The start of Remembrance Week, and a great opportunity for the UK Armed Forces women's football team. Not everyone gets the chance to work at Wolves' training facility, let alone work with some of their top coaches. But as one of the UKAF coaches, Daniel McNamara, is also the head coach of the Wolves women's team, this opportunity was made to happen.
It's great that we're able to support as a football club. It's something that I've thoroughly enjoyed doing today, and look forward to doing more with them over the coming days, and then who knows in the future too.
Whenever we bring this group together, we have to try and give them the best that we can give, and ultimately coming to a facility like this that has supported us due to why we're coming together at this moment is important, and a good exposure for the girls, isn't it, to experience it, be here all day. So yeah, great experience, and it's what about giving military footballers the opportunities to get things that they wouldn't get in normal day life.
Being with the UKAF setup, this is probably the best facility that we've had available to us. Usually with military setup and that, it's not looked after like it is here. So yeah, I think personally and as a squad, we are really grateful to have this opportunity here and be looked after by the staff that are here.
was not just a day of football, but also a chance to pay respect as a team. Coming together as a unit on this week of all weeks is hugely important.
Of course it is. We understand as service people, all of us, that how important this week is to, as we did then, like you say, down in the city, to pay our respects, and what better way to do it on a pitch, you know, together as one, with poppies on our shirts and paying our respects that way on a pitch. What an amazing opportunity for all of them.
After a quick tour of Wolves' 32,000 capacity stadium, it was time to focus on their Remembrance fixture against Everton Academy.
Okay, so everyone looking straight into the lens. And that's it, everyone looking.
Back to the pitches then, and outside in the rain as UKAF figure out their game plan. They're heading to Widnes for a win.
Our standards are high, and I think they should be high. Like, looking at the performance that we had against Chelsea last year, we should be going into this game wanting to win, because we can win, and I think that's what we just need to remember is, even though it might be quite a high status club and everything, like, we've got girls on the pitch that can play, and we're definitely in a position where we can win.
We never planned to lose a game. We didn't last year. This year will be tough again, but at the end of the day, yeah, we go there to win a game of football, especially in a week where it's so important to us as well.
Welcome back to Kingsholm, where it is 26-14 to the home team, Gloucester United, against the UK Armed Forces men's rugby team. And they're back for the second half. We still have Simon Ward and Josh McNally with us. Guys, do you just want to give us a wrap on the first half?
Yeah, I'm glad to say that we've managed to keep Mr. McNally here under the lure of flapjacks and shortbread biscuits. But Josh, it is a contest, and it's a contest that has been quite interesting tactically as well as physically. I mean, yes, the scoreboard reads 26-14 to the home side, but I'm going to guess that both coaching setups are going to be relatively pleased with what they've seen. Would you concur with that?
Yeah, I think the middle 20 minutes of that first half, I think both coaches will be really happy with what came out. I think Gloucester started a bit slow. I didn't think they really knew what the contest was going to be like. And then I think how UKAF finished the second half, I think they just sort of fell off a little bit. I think they could just see the half-time in sight, and we were sort of sat here looking at the line out, and it was 19-14. You think, oh, this has been a pretty decent 40 minutes for UKAF, and they can go out and fix a few things and come out. But now it seems like they've got to go and chase the game. I think ultimately UKAF have got to stop giving Gloucester easy entries into their half, stop giving Gloucester entries into the 22, where they're a very, very strong side. We've seen Gloucester score, I think, 3 tries from driving mauls, so a few fix-ups from both sides, and again it becomes a very, 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 very contestable second half, and be intrigued to see who comes out the better.
One of the factors that obviously will play into the final 40 minutes is the use of the bench. Now, we've got a 25-man squad for UKAF, we've got a normal 23 for Gloucester, but that is going to maybe change the whole feel of this, potentially, as to when particularly Messrs Pascoe, Roberts and Coleman decide to put different ingredients into the mix.
Yeah, if you look at the two team sheets, the UKAF have got a very, very strong bench and some good inter-service experience in there. But then you look at the Gloucester team and the bench, and you see Bristol, you see Nottingham, Uni, Cardiff, Uni, so there's some unknown quantities for both Gloucester and the team that are out there already. So things could get a bit frantic for Gloucester when these changes are made. It's not going to be so seamless as maybe it would be for UKAF. Who knows? It's going to be an interesting 40 minutes.
Just to say, we're getting quite a bit of interest from Gloucester fans, which is nice to hear.
Oh, good on board.
Facebook, YouTube. Graham Foster said, ex-RAF Gloucester fan watching from France. Great live link, guys. Keep the good work. Gareth Balmer says, great work from Gloucester. Great to hear Simon back on the mic at Kingsholm.
Thanks, Gareth. Gareth used to be here as whatever, IT manager. So thank you, mate.
Nigel
Bonsoir,
Davis.
monsieur, whoever that was from France as well.
Says, thanks, Forces News. We will remember them. So a lot of remembrance of, and great to be able to watch this tonight. He's a Gloucester fan in Stamford, Lincolnshire. We've also got Paul Collins, who seems to be a very big fan of Crowley. Ryan Crowley says that Crowley is a handsome chap. So you get all sorts on.
Stalker alert! Stalker alert!
We should probably alert Ryan. He may be family. We don't know. But thank you for that, Paul Collins.
Well, good to see UKAF back on the park, and I see a change already because I can see Pele Kotobalavu, the hooker. I think they call him Koto the Short because his brother is Koto the Long.
He's the short one.
He's the short one. And the elder as well, I think. So it looks like he's already on for James Roberts, presumably. Here come the Gloucester United side, and changes there as well. Just looking to see. Yeah, that looks to me like Fred Maher, the Nottingham University front rower. He's presumably on for Archie MacArthur. I'm just looking to see. I can't see the new signing from Wasps that they announced this week. So I think that's like for like, loose head. Just looking to have a look around the rest of the park, and well, we'll pick up the extras. I can just see that Connor Murphy is also on. And Gareth Smith is also on into that UKAF front row. He'll be on for Bubba Watson. As I say, it'll be interesting to see how the dynamic changes as these different players come off the bench and whether tactics change as a consequence.
I don't think it's changed too much for Gloucester straight away. An opportunity to put it in the corner, and looking at a 6 metre line out. No doubt they'll go to where their strength has been all game, and it's been the maul. And hopefully UKAF have been talking about it at half-time about ways of stopping this, and a strong test to start the second half.
Yeah, looking down there, I can see Kai Beasley's on as well, so it's the entire front row change from UKAF, but they're now in defensive mode as Gloucester get the drive on. Heading for the line, the referee's arm goes up, it's the captain once again. Jack Bartlett gets his second try of the match, and Gloucester United start the second half as they finish the first.
Strong way for the Gloucesters to come out there. UKAF have got to be kicking themselves, no doubt. They've been talking about it at half-time. How do we stop the maul? It's not necessarily stop the maul, it's how you stop giving them opportunities in that area. So to not take a restart, to put yourself under pressure immediately, and to concede a penalty that puts you right back in your own 5 metre line is something that has probably contradicted every word that's been said at half-time.
Well, I'll just point to the scoreboard right now. Well, certainly the Gloucester United boys will. 90 seconds in and another 5 points on the board, and Keelan Cullen looking to add a further couple now off the tee. Went 3 from 4 in the first half, the young Welsh fly half. Make that 4 from 5.
The conversion is added by number 10, Keelan Cullen. This is scored Gloucester United 33.
UKAF can't let this game get away from them now. They've got to stick to the principles. Got a long time in the second half to apply pressure, and they've got to come out with an answer for how that first 90 seconds went. So big 5 minutes for them now.
Restart from Jordan Gott. Which way is the touch judge's arm going to go for the put into that? Touch judges, or assistant referees we have to call them now, don't we? Lieutenant Colonel Tom Evans-Jones, who I seem to remember was on the whistle for the RAF British Army game here, wasn't he?
Yeah, correct, yeah.
And squadron leader Fraser Todd, the other man on the flag. It's going to be a home put in. Matty Jones, pupil from Dean Close School, one of the several schools that seems to feed in now to the Gloucester Academy. Cheltenham College, another one. Cheltenham College with, I think, former Gloucester and England fullback Ollie Morgan as their head of rugby, so strong connections obviously between the club and the school.
Good scrum from UKAF, that. Probably something that Gloucester thought they had parity in, just a good exit scrum, get the ball down the park, and UKAF have really been aggressive there and got the rewards, and now looking at the scoreboard, chasing the game a little bit. There's no other decision really than to put it in the corner, and hopefully set piece can get some points.
Well, mentioning Kai Beasley, I see on his biog that he says he can pull off the infamous Wolf T-shirt. Now, from Civvy Street, I have no idea what that means. Anybody, any of our company on Twitter know what that is? Please send us in so we can stand to be educated.
I was looking at the youngest member of our team, hoping he would know.
He's shaking his head. Probably couldn't get a T-shirt to fit him.
I'm not young.
You're younger than us, Josh. That's all that matters here.
Everything's relative.
No, I have no idea. So yes, if anyone
the Wolf T-shirt, what's that about? Looks like Jack Cuthbert is coming off to this near side, I think. Appreciation from the crowd here. Healthy crowd below us. I'm guessing somewhere around 2,000 maybe.
I don't have crowd numbers, I'm afraid, but it was expected a couple of thousand. There were a lot in the hoity-toity rooms, but got a lot of UKAF hobnobbers here. But
your challenge, should you choose to accept it, is to go and count them.
Well, I'm not tall enough to do it from up here, so.
Jack Cuthbert out of the game now, it would appear. Walked off, but... So Cameron Cobbett line-out works for UKAF as they set up. Kotabalavu can't find any way to move it though. Invites Kai Beasley to see if he can get a bit further, which he duly does. Tap and go from Thakow, trying to catch the young Gloucester side napping. UKAF now 3 metres away. Drive, drive and drive again. The back's calling for the ball, but I don't think these forwards are going to give it up easily, are they? McDonald digs it out. Beasley leading the next thrust. Oh, goes just a bit wide. Oh, Adderley Jones. He's already apologising because he thought there could be a yellow card coming with that, but Nick Wood seems happy and they will go back for the earlier call. Jared Hayler calling for the scrum in an ideal position, right in the shadow of the post, to give attacking options on both sides.
Yeah, it's always a tough one around here to make the right decision. There's so many things you can do. A lot of teams now are choosing to pick and go. This is obviously a very, very hard thing to defend for the backs. If UKAF can get dominance, then you're not going to get the flankers off from Gloucester, which would always give you an overlap somewhere. But the problem with the scrum is that a decision could be made by the referee. It can get taken out of your hands. Gloucester have come with a massive push here. Good break from 8.
Thakow on the rumble. McDonald feeding the forwards again, and they go again. Tries good. I think it's the captain once again. It is Jared Hayler. So the skip does a double and gets a response for UKAF after that early home try. Jared Hayler now, of course, playing with Cornish Pirates down in the West Country. Commando with the Royal Marines. Says he's done the commando training twice. Now, to do it once would seem to be foolhardy in my book, but to do it twice?
I don't know why you do that. He's been an unbelievable servant for not just Navy, but UKAF Rugby as well. Captain tonight. He's been around for years. Great to play with, horrible to play against. Putting in an unbelievable captain's performance tonight.
Ball lost on the floor, and it's Gloucester who gobble it up. Fred Maher can't keep the ball in the contact though, and the moment is gone for the home side. To put in for Mike McDonald, Sapper Mike McDonald, man who's worn plenty of different colours for different clubs, London Irish, London Scottish, Quins, I think Saracens he turned out for at one point, and England counties as well, so plenty of experience for the UKAF scrum half. Just seen Jake Hanley on, didn't see when he came on. I think that must have been half time as well, replacing Jack Johnson. Local boy, of course, Jake Hanley. Hartbury, Lydney, 10-15 that's come through the under 23s. Oh, handling just not good enough there. Yeah, Jake Hanley wearing the number 23 jersey this evening. 10 minutes of this second half gone. And 12 points now, the differential.
Just trying to force it there. UKAF trying to keep the ball in play. It's going to be their line out anyway. Just a little bit of a lapse in concentration. Ends up a knock-on offside, results in a penalty, and we find this very familiar picture of Gloucester with a line out 7 metres out, and it's been an extreme weapon for them tonight, so I can't see them going anywhere else than go to the maul, and UKAF need to do something drastic to stop this.
So both of the Kotobolavu brothers now on the pitch as Bartlett tries to twist and turn his way. Driving through is Henry Pearson. I think just held up. Good D from UKAF. I'm not sure who was on the bottom of that. Looks like Kieran Forbes, or is that Sam Carter? As ever, the introduction of substitutes is going to be a cause for concern from the commentary position, but we'll do our best to keep you informed as to who's doing what. It's a good kick from Adderley Jones. Got with the banana kick to try and send it back. Cullen.
50-22 this.
Finds a good diagonal. Well, the kicking conversation eventually finishes with Hanley putting it into or over the shed.
Just with both teams making a lot of changes, it's become a bit scrappy. I think there's a lot of balls going down. I wouldn't say aimless kicking, but I think both teams opting to try and find some territory, find some field position. Gloucester find themselves now just outside the 22 with the ability to launch now and hopefully get some of these new guys into the game.
Take is good from Matt Hillary, the Hartpury Bucks back rower, leaping well at the front. There's his captain, Bartlett. Bullet of a pass, and it's going to be lost in the contact, which will give the put in to UKAF. Yeah, as you say, Josh, it's a little haphazard, a little scrappy now as the new ingredients try and settle themselves in. Thomas Gwilliam is going to come on, as well as James Rowland. Looks like Mitch Spencer's on as well, wearing 20. Coming on for Manasseh Thakau. Jared Haylor moving round to the number 8 berth in the scrum now that Thakau's gone off. Advantage being played. Hanley. So, attacking opportunity for UKAF. Already got 3 tries in the bag. Kota the shorter finds his captain, comes back round to take charge of the ball once again, tries the drive but nailed by Bartlett's. Ball still there. Forbes finds no way through. Hanley just tries to thread it through. There really wasn't room to operate there. Forward scavenging around. I think they've turned it over, haven't they?
They have turned over, yeah.
Big opportunity here for UKAF. Advantage being called by Nick Wood. Good resilience from the Cherry and Whites. Ball comes out, the kick pass is there. Ryan Crowley will take it, but can't take it cleanly. They'll go back for the advantage though.
UKAF really making some dents in this area of the pitch now when they keep it tight, keep it with the forwards, beat the Gloucester defence around the corner and find UKAF forwards running into Gloucester backs. And it doesn't have to be pretty, but taking 1 yard, 2 yards at a time. Starting to see UKAF putting Gloucester under pressure in this area of the field, and it's a great opportunity now to really close this gap on the scoreboard.
And it heightens the serious nature of this that we were talking about at the beginning of the first half. The challenge that is there and how seriously they take it. It's no thought of playing Barbarians rugby right now.
No, it just changes that. Like this time of the game, what we've had nearly 10, 15 changes. The whole game, the whole feel of the game changes, and it's just about who's going to adapt the quickest, who's going to take control of it and UKAF at the moment are putting some real pressure on in the Gloucester half.
Line out works. Cotter, the elder, in charge of the train. Bartlett comes through, but illegally so, but it's over. Who's going to get up with the ball? I think it's Kieran Forbes. But you know, let's see. I think that's Kieran Forbes who scored it. The man, I think, with no number at the moment has nailed that. Now plays his rugby out of Newport, Salop, the RFC, but yeah, I don't think he's got a number on the moment, but that looks to me like the self-professed sexy number 8 as we had in last year's inter-services.
That's disgusting.
He said it, not me.
If I could borrow your binoculars, I'll tell you whether that's true or not. I was about to compliment.
It's not.
I was going to compliment you on your eyesight, Simon, then I realised you had to bring binoculars. I'm not surprised. I can't see a thing down there.
Yeah, it's a long way to the other side. And always the worst thing that happens in this game is somebody comes on with no number.
Yep, and that happens a lot.
Good kick. I think Jake Hanley's taken over kicking duties. Tug Wilson tells me that it was Apeli Kotobalavu who actually got it down. I know he was on the drive, so...
Just trying to give it to anyone other than Kieran Forbes.
Well, if the director of rugby says he scored it in my book. Sorry, sorry, Kieran. You're off the list.
So frustrating now. We spoke about how UKAF can get back into the game. We've now looking at a 5-point scoreboard, looking at post-point actions, and just can't take the exit. And straight away now Gloucester have got an ability to launch in their half and hopefully put pressure back onto UKAF after probably 10 minutes they don't really want to relive.
Moving towards the final quarter of this game, and just the 5-point difference now. Bartlett again picks up at the base. Quick transference to Tom Ryman, another member of Cheltenham College, formerly at Whitney Rugby Club, down the A40 a bit. There he is once again. In fact, that's Wilf McCarthy trying to find a way through the purple defenders. Mark ships it on, but Apeli Kotobalavu stops him for the moment. Adley Jones also plays at fly half as well as fullback. Certainly has impressed in this one thus far. UKAF holding their line, in fact pushing their hosts away from the 22 a bit, much as they can't get their hands on the ball right now. The cross kick is there, just evades Will Gilderson.
This will be the test now. They've managed to withstand that attack from Gloucester. This exit is paramount now. They've got to exit well, relieve this pressure, take time off the clock. Someone go down, regather your thoughts, understand what's going to happen now, and get everyone on the same page. This could be a pivotal point in the game here.
Just taking a blow now, the players. Just looking to see, we've got a few more subs to do. As I say, there's a 25-man squad for Dave Pascoe to pick from. Keep those Twitter messages coming in, if you will, or on Facebook, or on the YouTube messages. Hope you're enjoying the match thus far. We've certainly seen plenty of tries. It's certainly been very evenly contested thus far. 18.5 minutes left of this one, and just 5 points between the two teams. Just shows you what a contest it's been. I'm Simon Ward, alongside me Josh McNally for this one, and so far it's been everything I think we could have hoped for. UKAF have got a man down in back play. Adley Jones goes a-wandering. Loading up to the left-hand side, plenty of numbers there. Good tackle from Crowley, making sure his opposite number was going nowhere fast. Jack Bartlett. We're looking forward to seeing his dad, Nick Bartlett, some point after the game. I'm not quite sure who he's been shouting loudest for through the course of it, but former Royal Navy captain, of course. Cullen. To peel back, the throw wide to Adley Jones. Gloucester trying to work a 2-on-1 in that tight channel on the right flank. Now they're moving it back. The little offload is good. The flow is there for Gloucester. Oh, good tackle from Crowley. Disappointment from Tom Ryman as he skidded to a halt. Yeah, and in the wrong place at the wrong time from that point of view. But suddenly Gloucester seemed to take the handbrake off that move, and the handling was good until right at the end when Ryman lost his balance.
Yeah, Gloucester did really well there. I think UKAF defended really, really well. Gloucester moving the ball from edge to edge, finally finding an overlap, and ultimately a little slip on the execution and they couldn't convert. But just some great defence there from UKAF not to give up. Kept scrambling. Ryan Crowley making a last-ditch tackle there, forcing a knock-on, and hopefully now UKAF can clear their lines and relieve this pressure.
I think it's Kieran Forbes down on the far side, because I can't see a number on his back. Being helped to his feet somewhat gingerly.
He just got his ankle caught. The ball went over the line out in that last exit. Problem with these 4G pitches sometimes, like, they just don't give. So if you get caught at an awkward angle, studs get caught in the ground, there's no give, and sometimes you can just roll your ankle underneath a tackle or something like that. And
What's the word on the circuit about playing on 4G? We've kind of got used to it now with Gloucester, Saracens, Newcastle. What's the feel now in the professional camp on playing on plastic?
Very different. It comes with different challenges. We change our training a little bit different. We've got a 4G that we can train on. Just the way you land on the floor, the way you present the ball, it can be a little bit different. You just get a little bit different feedback from what you would to grass normally. But the only slight issue is, I think, obviously Burns is obviously quite something that's been high profile in the sport at the moment with 4G pitches, but it is just these little obscure niggles that people are picking up, just catching ankles in tackles, and just can't quite beat that forgiveness that grass gives you, the little give that allows you to sort of get out of those tackles. Like, there's no give in these 4Gs, and you can pick up some nasty little ankle injuries or knee injuries that maybe could be avoided. But it's on a positive, you get better rugby. You around this time of year, going into Christmas, Gloucester famously played on this pitch before where it was a swamp and you'd win games 6-3. Now you've got the ability to throw the ball around, and you have a better product from playing on this sort of a pitch. So pros and cons, like you said, we're getting used to it. It's going to be here to stay, I think. I don't think anyone's going to change, or there's going to be any sanctions to bring anything different in. So it's going to be here, and I think everyone's just getting used to it now.
Does it dictate a different game plan when you're going to play on 4G, when you're going to a Newcastle, a Saracens, a Gloucester? Does the fact that it's going to be that kind of tread, that kind of bounce of the ball sometimes?
For me personally, like, I've never really looked at you scrummage slightly differently. Grass obviously gives when you scrummage, when you're looking for grip. 4G doesn't. When you land, you do get a bit of feedback and you do bounce a little bit, but other than that, you don't train, you don't change your game plan any different, really. I know other teams that like free-flowing rugby, like a Quins or something like that, probably relish time when they get to play on here and probably aim to throw it around a bit more, but for us personally, it doesn't really change our game plan, and I don't think many teams would.
Attention being paid. I'm pretty sure it is Kieran Forbes, because I can't see him in the group as they're waiting to reconvene. So it does, as Josh said, it looks like it's an ankle problem and they're waiting to, well, stretcher him off at the moment. What have you got on social media, Kath? Anybody still awake with us?
Everyone, yeah, we've still got a lot of people awake. Paul Collins, who's already commented before, who said he was the Ryan Crowley fan.
Yeah.
He was saying, he's now saying Crowley the tackle machine. So, you know, winger. And he did put in a couple of I wouldn't say try saving necessarily, but last minute tackles. So
we'll be promoting him for Love Island before we know it.
And also, I think it's El Jade saying, "Come on, UKAF number 15." So they're in support. Jordan Gott, yeah, yeah. And we always get a nice sort of range of viewings from around the world. So
we've had nothing on the Wolf T-shirt though. We're none the wiser.
I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that. I'll
Investigative journalist Kath Brazier will be on the case.
And you guys, of course, will be announcing your man of the match as well. That will be in the next few minutes.
Well, let's not talk specifics, but let's talk who's in the frame in your mind, Josh.
Obviously, the game's still in the balance, so it's, well, you go with tradition. You always pick from the winning team, so we can't really pick. But there's some big strong players on both sides, I think.
I have to say, I've always objected to that. Yeah. Pick from the winning team. You pick the best performance, no matter whether their team has ended up in front or not, surely.
Yeah, I don't know why you do that. Maybe, you know, it's easier to have a post-match interview with someone who's won, I suppose.
Yeah, if they're smiling.
Jared Hale has been outstanding for UKAF. I think he's the one sole survivor of the starting pack. Been outstanding, ball in hand, tackle over the ball. He's taken a lot of line out. It's been a great set piece forward today, so he's pretty much done everything he can to put UKAF on the front foot.
He is that action man performer, isn't he? Paul, hesitate to use that phrase, but you know what I mean, because he gives you an all-court game in so many facets of it. He's always seems to be leading the way.
Yeah, he's always had defence. Defence has been a strong point of his game. Gets over the ball really well as a 7, but his ball carrying has come on massively over the last few years. I remember him playing against the RAF this year. Was unbelievable in the ball carrying. Him and Sam Matavesi was an absolute nuisance to play against. So he's down at Cornish Pirates now, got a professional contract, and he's really sort of worked on his game, and fair play to him. Like he's been around nearly as long as I have, and he's been a huge servant to the Navy, and hopefully he can keep developing. Like people say he's been around for a while. Like he's keep developing. He's come to the game late in terms of professional standard, and potential's endless. Like you can do whatever you want. So yeah, he's been outstanding tonight. Led the team really well, and he'd be well up there in contention for player of the match.
Anybody else? Is anybody on the cherry and white side?
Yeah, so for Gloucester, I've got Jack Barlett. He's been fantastic today. Ball carried so well. He's stopped people in their tracks as well. Exactly what you need from your back row. He seems like a great off the base of scrum. I know George Gibbonson and the guys are down here watching, so I can see him having a pretty bright future in the Gloucester shirt.
Yeah, certainly put out a good audition, if that's the word, for the Gloucester head honcho in the crowd this evening. Just looking out to the far side to see Kieran Forbes is yet on the stretcher. Can't see him at the moment. All those at RAF Cosford will no doubt be watching on with some interest, hoping that it's not as bad as it looks right now. Of course, every effort being taken to make sure that there is no further complications from that awkward injury. 5-4 at the moment on the scoreboard. Blake Bartlett, Blake again, and then Nixon with that last gasp score for Gloucester United. Hayler and Lamont the scorers for UKAF. Bartlett then getting the fifth 90 seconds into this second half before Hayler got going again, and I'm assured it was Epeli Kotobolavu who finished at the bottom of that driving maul. Either way, it was a 5-pointer that turned into 7 thanks to that time it was the boot of Jake Hanley, I think, who was kicking off the tee. Well, as we're waiting for this return, I'm going to just ask how your rehab is going. I know you're sick and tired of going, everybody coming up, how are you, Josh? When will you be back on the park? But how are you, Josh? When are you going to be back on the park?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Shoulder, not great. A couple of weeks ago I had surgery, and all back on the mend now, working hard at Bath to get back on the pitch, hopefully just after Christmas. Few boxes we've got to tick before we can get there. But no, I'm in the best place for it. When the game is brutal at the moment, but it comes with probably the best medical care in the country. So yes, we put our body on the line, but we got the people to put us back on the pitch when things go wrong. So yeah, working hard. Injury list is quite significant at Bath at the moment, but over the next couple of months we should see quite some big names coming back, and hopefully continue the form we've sort of seen in the last couple of weeks.
The physical rehab is obvious. That is its own challenge. How big is the mental rehab, the getting back on the pitch and forgetting what the injuries have been before and just playing your normal game?
Yeah, the bonus of rehabbing 24/7 like we get at Bath is you put yourself through some pretty stressful positions anyway, so when you do return to the pitch, you've got the trust in what you've put yourself through in that rehab process, and know that your body is in the best shape it can be. I know I used to struggle with it in the amateur game because you sort of just stayed out of the game until you felt all right again and you just had to throw yourself in, whereas at this level you go through some pretty grueling tests to make sure your shoulder, knee, whatever it is fit to back.
And that must be reassuring as a consequence.
Hugely, yeah, it is hugely. So when you take the pitch, it should be a small thought in the back of your mind that, mentally it is quite challenging. You see boys having numerous injuries, long layoffs. It is mentally quite tough to get back out there and to keep doing these rehabs to get back on the pitch.
Well, Kieran Forbes being stretchered from Kingsholm. We wish him all the best, and hope that whatever that injury is, Josh seems to think it was ankle, is not going to keep him out of the game for too long. Into services, of course, just round the corner, so it feels like. I'm not sure that we got a new date yet for the Army-Navy game, have we? Because apparently there was something else going on May the 6th.
Something about a king, coronation, something, yeah. Yeah, a bit of a massive date clash there. I don't think a date's been announced. So the latest from Army-Navy was just saying that it is being discussed and there will be a new date and it will be at Twickenham.
Yeah, my guess is it's going to be a week later, but we'll see.
Around then, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. Right. Back to matters here at Kingsholm. 16 minutes supposedly left on the clock, though we'll wait and see. I suspect it may be a little bit longer than that after that delay. Manassa Thakau back into the fray for UKAF. Sam Carter just digging it out before slamming it downtown.
Great exit.
Good kick from Carter. The Navy 9 doing a good job there.
That's exactly what UKAF needed there. Big stoppage and play. Bit of Gloucester putting some big pressure on at the scrum time. Scrappy ball, but UKAF ultimately, in the end, being able to exit well. Big defensive block around the halfway line.
I'm looking at these youngsters now, and I'm thinking, I've just seen Kai Beasley tap his opposite number, and like well played. That's a new thing for these youngsters because they're not used to how rugby used to be played or is played in the amateur setup. This is all new, so it's a whole learning experience in so many different ways.
It is. There's still got to be an enjoyment factor to it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you play otherwise. But yeah, you can see now from Gloucester there's some real young lads out there now, some guys early in the development stages just getting a little bit scrappy, just the older heads now just trying to put the ball in the right places.
Ryan Crowley, rock star, slams it clear. Once again, Cullen has plenty of time though to respond. Oh, that just didn't work for Jordan Gott there. He thought he was going to get the chance to set things back in style, and the fingertip touch means it's going to be a Gloucester United put in.
Simon, Aaron Hunt has come to the rescue. Forces News, he says, Kai Beasley's Wolf Fleece reference comes from it being a popular purchase you make when visiting Poole Market in Cornwall, and all the locals wear them. There you go.
You live and learn.
You won't forget that one, will you?
No. That'll be going into the Army Navy commentary next May. Take is good from Bertie Taylor. Around on the rumble comes James Howard, but the ball is loose, and here come UKAF. Lamont trying to get Ben Chambers on a roll and in some space. Nice footwork from Apeli Kotobalavu. There's his brother, Viliami, now playing in Wales for Ebervale. Used to be a winger himself, so I'm told. Gus Smith feeds out to Kotobalavu once again, but holding on for too long for referee Nick Wood's liking.
Some of Gloucester's pack are really putting pressure on the breakdown, and UKAF are struggling to get there quickly. They're losing the race, which means they're trying to clear players off that are already over the ball, already in strong positions, and are struggling to get them out of the way. So a real tactic Gloucester are going after in this second half. Some great poachers over the ball, and UKAF are struggling to deal with them.
"12 minutes on the match clock, and an attacking opportunity for the young cherry and white side. UKAF not quite getting the numbers sorted out, but it worked out well enough for Thakau. Arrived at the line out and suddenly found the ball in his basket. Hanley. This is where, of course, the bench does make a difference in terms of energy. Carter gets the box kick up. Adley Jones takes a look at what's there. Forces UKAF back. No problems for Jordan Gott, but I don't think he's... Oh, he has found it. Toby Wilson was thinking about things. Good to see Toby Wilson on the park. Former Worcester Warrior, another that's had to find a new home fairly quickly. And he'll be looking to do big things this afternoon. You must have mates, Josh, in the Wasps camp, in the Worcester camp, that now find themselves unemployed at such a bad time.
Yeah, it's been quite frightening actually to see how fragile rugby can be. Two clubs that seem, well, they've been huge in the Premiership to not have a future. You're talking about nearly 100 players without a job. It's good to see when people are getting opportunities to come and play in games like this, to to keep their
showcase,
especially academy lads that people definitely would have forgotten about, to see their journey still go at a club like Gloucester.
Yeah, such an uncertain future for so many. It's going to be a line-out ball for the Cherry and Whites.
Feels like it's going to be a very touchy 10 minutes, this. Gloucester not really trying to give away too much. UKAF really chasing it, playing in maybe quite a risky game now, so space is going to start to open up. It'll be very interesting to see how this next 10 minutes goes.
Line-out works. There's the captain Bartlett, the conduit in midfield this time. Cullen back in the pocket. Got in good position. Good take from Adderley Jones. Good contest. Again, Bartlett in the middle of things for his team. Wilson. Oh, the breakthrough, oh, the tap tackle, but off they go. Support is there. And the try is there, looking at the touch judge. Nick Wood's happy. I think that's number 6, Matt Hillary, who's done his flanker duties to the extreme there in supporting the ball.
UKAF just getting exposed around the fringes there, and then Gloucester just flooding through. It's very, very difficult. UKAF tired legs chasing back. A great finish from Gloucester. A try from almost nothing.
Well, what a critical time to score with less than 8 minutes left on the clock. That could be the crowning glory for the young Gloucester United side. Keelan Cullen. 8 points to the good thus far. Looking to go into double figures. Not quite finding it there. So 10 points, the difference on the scoreboard. Just over 7 minutes left on the clock. This match still not done yet, as the replacements look to make a difference now.
Gloucester United 38, UKAF Rugby 28.
UKAF with a man down by the sticks. I can't quite see who it is as the medics are in the way, but I think referee says let's play on. Looks to me like it could be Luke Riddell, but Nick Wood is going to show courtesy and manners and wait for him. That's a well-worked kick, not quite finding the touch, allowing Cullen to step back out to the 22 and clear. And now the game management of the likes of Cullen and co is going to just be tested for the last 6 minutes of this matchup.
Yeah, Gloucester don't have to do anything too pretty here. Keep giving UKAF the ball. UKAF have got to do everything. They've got to get 2 scores now to get anything out of this game, so keep putting the ball back in their half. It's just whether Gloucester have the experience to keep doing that.
Yeah, the wind just coming up to swerve that one away. You could feel it up here in the stand. Just picked up and suddenly went boomerang on Apeli Kotopalavu's throw.
I think it's safe to say this game has probably lived up to exactly what we wanted it to be. We talked a bit about how UKAF played against Rugby for Heroes, how that was a bit of an occasion game. This has been a very good contest, I think, that took Gloucester by surprise, and it's the direction that UKAF want to be in now, a game that we can compete in and put a bit of a spectacle on proof that military rugby can compete at this level.
Gloucester trying to keep themselves on the front foot. That pass by Cullen, anything but sympathetic. We've got 4 minutes left on the clock. With a 10-point buffer, I'm going to guess that this match is in the clutches of Gloucester. And I'm going to ask you, therefore, who is your player of the match?
Yeah, I think I'll go with their captain, Jack Bartlett. Obviously, we spoke a bit about him before. He's been strong off the base of the scrum, carried exceptionally well. Stop people, stop some big runners for UKAF. I think he really set the tone. He obviously mentioned it pre-game about how he was expecting it to be a physical encounter, and he stood up and matched the test and really set an example for the rest of his team. So, yeah, I think he deserves the player of the match there.
Kind of apt that he's got if not a foot in both camps, then it's something in his bloodstream at least. I'm sure Dad Nick will be happy with his lot. Certainly has produced the skipper's performance in all sorts of ways, as Josh has just alluded to. I have to say, from this distance, he reminds me of Andy Powell, the Welsh number 8, but that's probably just the blonde hair, I think.
Well, he's got some unbelievable back rowers to learn from over here at Gloucester.
Yeah, sure.
Probably some of the informed back rowers in the league at the moment. He's just got to bide his time. Like we found out tonight, it's a position he's learning. Hasn't started off as a...
Oh, there's a lovely chip and chase. And here's a golden moment to finish. Well, there was a virtuoso score. Suddenly, when it looked like there was no room and nothing to run for, the door creaked open. And what a score that is to finish, if it is to be the final score. I think it's Conor Murphy. Yes, it is. I was right. So, Conor Murphy with a delicious try to finish with.
Yeah, something like nothing, little chip through. It was almost one of those where you screamed him not to kick it because we had a 3-man overlap, but quick enough to regather his own ball and finish a superb solo try. Just little moments of brilliance, showing things like that in front of the boss, George Skivinson, is never going to hurt.
Well, there's a few ailing bodies out there right now. They've certainly put their all into this matchup. Manasa Thakal just having some attention. He was substituted earlier on, then came on when poor old Kieran Forbes was carried off. See if he's got enough for the next 67 seconds or so. Medical staff just concerned with the concussion element, but the big Fijian seems to think he's okay to row. Well, once again, the blight of the restart comes back to haunt the try scorers, and UKAF have maybe a last chance to find a way through. Penalty call goes to the visitors, not allowing Sam Carter to clear that ball back. Jordan Gott is going to send it to the sidelines, and we're going to get last chance saloon maybe for another UKAF try.
UKAF have been strong in these areas, so great opportunity to put some more points on the board. Obviously, game's pretty much, well, it's out of their control now, but you always want to try and end the game as well as you can. Big opportunity to put some points down.
Apeli Kotobolavu comes round to try and drive, breaks off, gets through the winger, turned turtle though. Has he got it down? I'm not sure that he has.
It's stopped short.
Officials in good position.
Good try.
Ah, there's the try. The fifth try is in there for UKAF. Who's coming up with the ball? I think it's Kotobolavu, is it? I think it was Viliami Kotobolavu.
Koto long.
So both brothers on the scoreboard. And the last kick is going to fall to Jake Hanley. Just swinging away from the left-hand upright. Going to get the restart. I think Nick Wood is going to, yes, go back to the halfway line.
Gloucester United 45, UKAF Rugby 33.
Good take from Bubba Watson back on the park. Carter digs it out.
Oh.
There's a forward pass there. Into quite what may be a sizable injury time. I'm not. When Kieran Forbes was down, it was quite a long delay. Thought the match clock had actually stopped, but
Nick's got different ideas.
Tom Miles now, the Gloucester scrum half with the feed. Again, the red and white switch right and left, and it comes out left inadvertently there. Big pressure coming on from the UKAF pack. Cullen, Adley Jones, Gloucester with numbers out on the right. Gilderson. On the charge. Gloucester looking to finish things off. Fred Moe trying to keep the thing alive. Cullen cannot pick it up though. He could hear the pounding hooves of Ryan Crowley behind him. Well, Gloucester still bashing at the UKAF door. Adley Jones into that playmaker role this time.
Good turnover.
And the turnover is there. Oh, a little bit of back chat. That's the first time we've seen anything like that, I think, that I've heard anyway. It feels quite odd to come to Kingsholm and not hear the shed, yeah. I have to say.
It is, and hopefully it will be. We can play this fixture here in a couple of years, and it will be full. I think there's still a lot of work going on behind the scenes, but this fixture's here to stay, and different opposition maybe. We start making a bit of a spectacle for rugby fans, not just military, but rugby fans in general, to come and watch a game like this. So. It's been a great contest tonight. It's lived up to what we wanted it to be, and hopefully we can see more like this in the future.
Well, we're not done yet. Nick Wood working on his own clock now. Clever kick from Cullen, who's dropped down, but there it is. That is the final whistle. It has been some serious rugby on a serious day, of course. 78 points provided between these two sides. Appreciative ovation from the crowd below us. 12 tries in all, 7 to Gloucester, 5 to UKAF. Josh McNally sum up the importance of the day, but what we've seen on the pitch as well.
Yeah, like we said, it's a big occasion. It's a big match for UK Armed Forces. Of the big Remembrance fixture that's got a lot of history, and I think we found a way back to what the history that's come before it. I think it's been a great occasion. The fixture has lived up to it. Two great sides competed very, very hard. Gloucester coming out on top, but a physical encounter. Both teams throwing everything at it, and yeah. I think we've come out with a massive win there.
I know we've spoken about it before, but the importance from the Armed Services perspective on getting into Civvy Street, I don't want to trivialise it, but just increasing the Armed Services profile in a public place.
Yeah, when I first started playing for the RAF 10, 12 years ago now, all I wanted to do was to be able to prove myself at this level, playing against Premiership outfits, Premiership second string outfits. Like, you want to play in these stages, and we want to give as many people in the military those opportunities. Something that we haven't probably had over the last 5 years. But like I said before, the Gloucester head coach is here watching his own team, but you start putting UKAF players in the shop window with people like that watching, all of a sudden you might see a few more familiar names out in the professional era playing rugby at the top level. So it's been a huge win. Obviously UKAF haven't won today, but in terms of getting the profile out there and getting players in the shop window to further themselves and their own development of rugby, not just in the military but in Civvy Street as well, playing civilian rugby, it's been a huge win, and hopefully something that we can continue growing in the future.
And certainly I'm sure that George Skivington and Carl Hogg have taken a lot out of what has been serious opposition to their young Gloucester United side this evening. They certainly will be looking back on a very forceful 80 minutes as coaches Pascoe, Roberts and Coleman go to show their appreciation to their own group of players. And Jack Bartlett brings his young squad, which was also, we have to remember, put together within a couple of days, really. They only had their first run out yesterday. on this track. So the fact they've produced such good rugby bodes well for Gloucester, bodes well for their own personal rugby futures as well. Gareth Delve just joining in the circle there.
Yeah, you look at games like this and you look at a scoreboard as the outcome of the game, but there's so much more that comes out of this.
Yeah.
Coaches get to see players, opportunities have been had, academy guys, fringe players that haven't had much game time. We get to see a UKAF team come out, put themselves in a shop window, compete against players that play professionally week in, week out. I know the UKAF team had 3 days together, so to be able to come out and compete with a team that predominantly have been together for quite a while, yeah, you've got to look at the wins from all over it, and like I said, hopefully one day we can see a UKAF team play here, maybe against a stronger Gloucester side with a lot more fans, and yeah, we just want the game to grow for UKAF and to be able to get as many people in the shop window as possible.
Yeah, it certainly bodes well for Armed Forces rugby and the quality that we've seen. Hopefully, of course, I think the RAF British Army game should be back here in April, May time. As I said earlier, we're still waiting to hear how the dates are going to work in the adjusted calendar as it is right now.
We're starting to see so many good connections now between military rugby, whether it's Navy, Army, RAF, UKAF, and the Premiership, these elite environments. So the RAF coaches came down to see us at Bath and started to pick the brains here. I know Gloucester have been very forthcoming and letting UKAF coaches come down and look. I know the RAF are going to be back here. We're going to be playing here in April. So these connections and relationships are huge, and it's just developing military rugby. We're just trying to continue the growth and keep up with the elite game. That hopefully we get more people playing in the elite game, and some of these young guys have got a really bright future.
And people can see how it can work with the interaction between the two, and as you rightly say, the possibilities that are there should they want to use them, want to utilise them. Right, well, down pitch side, Kath Brazier has got the recently retired British Army head coach, Mal Roberts. Kath, down to you.
Well, Mal, we thought it was a good time to speak to you. You're about to leave the service, and I know in this sense UKAF don't go out on a winning note, but what a game and what a contest to witness here tonight.
Yeah, no, it's really good, and we've got to put it into perspective. The performance tonight was outstanding by the boys, considering we've had 2.5 sessions together. So, you know what, the boys done themselves really proud of them. They've put themselves out. They've put a really good showing themselves this evening, and done the shirt proud.
Because after a few years where we've had sort of more charity games and there's been more of an emphasis on the Remembrance side, what Josh McNally was saying today on commentary is people want to see a really good rugby match, and this is what we got here today.
Yeah, and this is a perfect opportunity to showcase what services rugby players can do. They've done themselves really, really great justice tonight. Like I said, after just a couple of sessions together, to come out and put a performance like that, and there was individual errors, and there's always going to be, because when fatigue sets in, you play against a well-drilled, organised side, you're always going to have those mistakes. But I think the boys stuck at the task, and even proved to the end there we were still trying to play some rugby, which was good, and great credit to them.
And they kept coming back as well, because against the side that I think the eldest player in the Gloucester side was 22, you got people here who almost double that, so they put a good show on and kept pushing.
Yeah, no, definitely, and like you said, you alluded to the Gloucester team, the oldest player was 22. A lot of those boys have probably been in DPPs and academies for about the last 5 or 6 years, and you put that into context against serving personnel that aren't full-time rugby players, and I think we've done ourselves justice tonight, and fair play to the boys. It just proves that the talent pool that are in services rugby, both men and women, is outstanding. So a great credit to the service.
What are your memories of in-services rugby and UKAF rugby over the many years you've been involved as a player and as a coach?
Oh, there's just so many to go back on. I was fortunate this evening. Dave asked me to present the shirts to the boys, and it was just memories of playing against the Barbarians, Argentina, Romania, all those things. And I know that Tug's spoken about it recently, that we're trying to get those tier 2 sort of like international teams back on the radar again, because I think it'll only be good for services rugby. It puts us back on the map. It gives the boys those real like fixtures to aim for, and you know, them boys commit to it as they have done tonight, and you know, we can only get better. More games, high profile games, will be good for service rugby.
And the best way to celebrate Remembrance and commemorate those people that are no longer with us is possibly to play a good game of rugby.
100%, and you know, it's really poignant, and I said that in the shirt presentation this evening, that you know, for whatever motivates you, everyone's been touched at some point in their life through a loss through service, whether it's family members or whether it's comrades. So, you know, really poignant date in the calendar for every single service personnel, and I think the boys sometimes do play on emotion, especially in the last 5 to 10 minutes when they're out on their feet. So really pleased to see.
Mal, thank you so much for your service, not only as a rugby player but also in the military as a whole. And thank you for watching here tonight. We're going to wind up our coverage here. UKAF lost, but I think we're all winning. Well, rugby was the winner, as they say. A really good match here at Kingsholm for the 2022 Remembrance. You can see some more UK Armed Forces action on BFBS TV tomorrow. That's with the UK Armed Forces women who played Everton under-21s today. That's all for today. Thank you to our amazing commentary team of Simon Ward and Josh McNally. That's all from me. I'm croaking up already. We'll see you soon.